Mercury retrograde. Are you feeling the pain yet? It has been off the charts here. I've been without internet for almost 3 days, about 2.5 days. Just got it back earlier this morning. I'm kind of used to it. Ever since I've been here, it's just constant internet problems from one source or another. I think it bothers Kim a little bit though, which is why I'm making this video. She's got some bad news about her mom, and she has been requested to make a trip home or come home, and apparently that's what she wants to do. So I'm going to support her in any decision she makes. Since she's been here, she's just now beginning to get everything transferred over. She hasn't had any medical or any food stamps. Until her case closed there, it won't open here. So she hasn't gotten it yet. So I have literally been paying for everything. Her medications, her food. So I'm a little bit tapped out. This kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that. It's simply not in my budget. But I want to help her. So what I'm willing to do is to go ahead and take on a couple more charts. I'd like to take on 2 or 3 more charts. That way I can afford her a plane ticket home this week. With her luggage and everything, that's going to be almost $600. But Amtrak, I can. That'll be about $200. And then I want to make sure she has some money in her pocket. I don't want her going there broke. But she's stressed out enough. Most of her problem is stress. When you're under a lot of pressure, it's going to really take a toll, not only on your mind, but your body as well. So anything I can do to help relieve that, I will. So all of y'all, please keep her and her family in mind. Her family are not really in a position to help her. But her request, her presence has been requested. Moon and Leo today. There's just so much going on. And I've gone through my comments. I've been uploading charts this morning, even though my internet's been down. I have my information, so I've been doing the charts and uploading them and going through the comments this morning. And a lot of you are having communication problems. There have been outages in Gmail, Facebook, Verizon, big outages really all over the world, not just here, but everywhere. Communication breakdown. Also, wow, a lot of arguing, miscommunications. People saying one thing and others hearing what they want to, basically. But Mercury's not combust now, just debilitated in retrograde. When Mercury is combust, that is an outside source interfering with communications, navigation, logic, intellect, and commerce in general. But here it's just debilitated, which is weak, and retrograde, which is what I call ass backwards. Everything is ass backwards right now. Venus in Capricorn, moving into Aquarius soon. Jupiter on the hero's journey. That Moon in Leo. Mars finally fixing to move into Taurus, still in Aries today. When is Mars moving? On the 24th. On the 24th. He will be in Taurus fully. We can see that better in the artwork and the Arabic and the more ancient instead of the Greco-Roman. You can see their artwork is more in line with where the constellations are than what the Greco-Roman is. I like playing in this one. I see different stuff when I go through this one. Like Libra not being here. And where is my eagle? and Jupiter in a different position here. All of them, they just show you that slight variation. You know, when the moon comes through where the sun is now, that's 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale. They talk about the 3 days of darkness. There are several interpretations of that in the zodiac, the 3 days of darkness. Usually, when you look at the big wheel, the big picture, it is always the 3 constellations that are in the wilderness, and that lies between the fall equinox and the winter solstice. But here, the 3 days and 3 nights is where the moon spends its time, and then it's spit out in Nineveh. And then we could go backwards as the sun retrogrades backwards through the zodiac. It literally is going to spit the sun out into Aquarius. Isn't that interesting? And we've talked about that too. People have asked me about dates. All I can give you is the dates that Stellarium gives, which is very accurate to me. So we don't fully move into Aquarius as far as Stellarium is concerned until almost 700 years. But that could change in a single moment if the Earth was to tilt or shift. As a matter of fact, not only could it move us into Aquarius, depending upon the shift or tilt, it could put us in any constellation. Truly, truly. Well, the sun from our perspective, that is. But when we move into Aquarius, or that age, we're told about a new zodiac. And I can't wait for that one. If anybody finds out anything about the zodiac in the rotunda that they've been working on over a decade, please do let me know. Send me a link. I'm very interested in what that new zodiac is. They've spent so much time on it without revealing anything to us. All right. Not a lot more I want to say, I reckon. Just trying to keep up with where we're at. Y'all are going to have to just really... I think the thing that has really bothered me the most about this Mercury retrograde and the communication breakdown is I'm watching people get angry over miscommunications. Friendships being broken down here. Friendships being broken down, which is distressing. Oh, we do have an event today. It just occurred to me, because that has to do with this Mercurian energy, and I've been watching friendships break it down the last week, as Uranus is leaving Pisces and enters Aries today. And that is that breaking down of friendships, changing groupthink, and that happened this week. And today, Uranus moves into Aries. Yep, it's there now. So, big game changer here. This energy is subtle and slow. This is going to affect those of you that are born with Uranus in a fire sign or Uranus on the cardinal cross. It affects all of us personally, but especially that generation when you're born with Uranus either in Leo or Sagittarius, and whether you are back in Aries, which was you'd be way old then. Let's see who else. Those of you born with Uranus in Capricorn, Libra, or Cancer. That would affect you as well. This is the fire of purification. Everything has its dualistic nature, but today it's coming in with a bang, because not only do we have Uranus moving in, but Mars is here as well. So for the first few days, this energy's subtle. Uranus is going to give you all the time in the world to do this yourself. As a matter of fact, until 2024, when Uranus moves into Taurus on the fixed cross. But this is the fire of purification. But if it's not done, It can burn you to the ground. Then you have to become the phoenix out of the ashes. Uranus directs change in the physical world. So when you talk about purification, and this is cardinal, so it's self-purification, not running around trying to purify everybody else, telling everybody else what their sins and their problems is. This is pointing out your own to yourself. And it's going to go right in line with Pluto and the fire of Sagittarius. First, Uranus was conjunct Pluto on the mutable cross, aspecting the fire in Sagittarius on the mutable cross. Now it's getting serious, because you have Uranus and Pluto both in a fire sign, and both demanding change. And this is emotion. This is ruled by Mars. So we're talking about learning to control your emotions, learning to reflect instead of react, learning to respond, not being volcanic. And it's right in line with ideology in Sagittarius, that illuminated mind. Pluto, that subconscious mind working there. But this here is judge yourself, not others. When you judge others, karma has a way of turning that back on you. And when Uranus is coming through here, we could end up eating a lot of crow. So watch that action-reaction. Always watch your tongue, because generally that's how the first way we tend to react is verbally. Especially on the internet, right? It's hard to reach out and slap somebody through the internet. So we abuse people verbally with our words. We need to turn that around. We need to purify ourselves and to be kind to others with our words. Let's pass. This test can be passed with a straight A. But if you don't do it, when Uranus gets ready to leave that sign, just like when Uranus just left Pisces and all these friendships falling apart, people changing what groups they're hanging with, and I've watched this. I've watched it on my channel. I've watched it in many of you in your comments and things you say, and people switching ideologies and philosophies. Well, now this is about self. A good place, every time I see Uranus in a fire sign, especially here, being cardinal fire, it makes me think of Proverbs, and that it's the taming of the emotions, and the taming of the tongue, especially, which is Mercury. Mercury here, wait till Mercury shows up here, talking about burning people up with your words. Cardinal fire. That's we're all tested when Mercury starts hitting that cardinal cross. These are tests, right? You need to really pass these, and they're the hardest ones, because especially here, because emotions are involved. This is literally, if you had to say, as Mars rules Scorpio, water, that's passion. That's, the emotion of bonding and friendship, to where this can be almost the opposite. It's warlike, and it repels, to where the water in Scorpio attracts. It's the people you choose in your life, right? Those people you choose. But this is emotions off the charts here. So always keep yourself in check, not others. It's easy to point out others' faults, but we don't want to recognize our own. And that's what Pluto is doing in Sagittarius. It's digging into the subconscious, asking the deep questions. Why do you believe what you believe? And why you act the way you act? Because you believe what you believe. So if you want to change the way you act, you need to question yourself, what belief behind that is causing that action-reaction. You see how these two fire signs with Pluto and Uranus are going to play together. And now when the sun moves into Aries with that Uranus energy, wherever the sun is at, it always intensifies that energy for that time. Through this age, the overlying theme is all Pisces. That's foundation. That's your foundation stone right there, is Pisces. And so everything in this age is built on illusion, delusion, and religion. Everything in this age, that is its source. It is water of the people. It's the masses. It's the collective. And for the past several Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions, we've been running off the collective subconscious. And we will continue to through this next Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. Will also be influenced more so by Pluto. When Saturn and Jupiter meet, the door to the Black Lodge opens, and the Black Lodge is the subconscious. So Pluto is that subconscious. Pluto energy is always there. But to have him in the vicinity, or even in the same house, it just adds to that energy. That's what we're going to manifest for the next 20 years. If Neptune were there, we would manifest from the imagination. If Uranus was there, we could manifest from the conscious mind. So we really need to do this work, this Uranus purifying work, and also this making room for a new way of thinking, a new ideology, a new philosophy, a new way of looking at things. Instead of being stuck on the mutable cross demands change. So you got to become unfixed here, right? So we're dealing with mutable and cardinal. We're dealing with an adept and a grand master. Adept, Sagittarius. Grand master, Aries. Emotions and beliefs. And generally, they say all wars are religious wars. All religions really money-based. So they've all been hijacked by money and lies and corruption. Money is not evil at all. Zero. Money is not good, nor is it evil. We are told the root of all evil is the love of money, or materialism. And that's very Jupiterian. That's very Piscean. That's what this age is about. It's about religion, empire, materialism, illusion, delusion. The greatest thing that we really have had in Pisces has been intuition. Jupiter rules this age. Mercury is debilitated here. So, for 2,000 years, the people, which is what this age is about, the collective, the manifestation of the collective, we've had no voice. It's the age of Mercury debilitated. Isn't that crazy? But we'll get a voice soon enough. We have none now. We're getting a little bit as we begin. We can tell we're between ages because of the dynamics that's going on in society. We can't always go by our signs. These energies that the sun expresses, it takes 72 years for the sun to move 1 degree. So it's so subtle and so slow that, if you live to be 72 years, you've lived 1 degree of the sun. Out of 360, you've lived 1. So think about that, and that how insignificant what's going on now really is compared to the big picture of the entirety of the 360 degrees. Our lifetimes are very minute. And it's only just one short part of the story. and there are stories within stories. But alchemy and this magic alchemical circle, it definitely has a purpose. And the purpose is the philosopher's stone. It's to turn lead to gold, Saturn to the sun. To get your crown chakra, you want the golden crown, right? And this is his circle. Saturn rules astrology and alchemy from Aquarius. Karma, the law of equivalent exchange, you reap what you sow. This is his circle. And we look at it as being hijacked, but really it's just going through the elements. And now we're coming into a time where it's time to get our crown. It's time to turn that lead to gold. It's time to open the third eye. Become your own King Arthur. Pull the sword from the stone. Pull the words from the tones. And write your own golden ticket. You write your own story. Hopefully that's what we'll get to do in the next age. We are told it is beyond our imagination. And I have a pretty wild imagination. I can really go places in my mind. So if it's beyond what I can imagine, then I'm excited about it. If we have to be here, I definitely want to be able to get over this age of illusion and delusion. Just really get over it. It just needs to be part of history. And it's a lesson we needed to learn. And may humanity never have to repeat this again. One thing I like about Saturn is he's a hard taskmaster, and you're going to learn the lesson. There is only passing and failing. It's not like school system where you can get a D and just squeak by. There's no squeaking. You have to do this, or you're going to just go back in the mix and keep doing it until it's done. And that's how alchemy works. You keep refining a thing until it's purified. You keep putting it through the process over and over. You distill, you coagulate it, you distill it, you purify it, you refine it. You bring it to its purest form, its essence, its quintessence. All right. Y'all know what to do. Go commit that random act of kindness, and let's start forcing the age of Aquarius in. If they can try to turn back time, we can try to move it forward. You know, the whole thing is about focus. It's about keeping your eye on the prize. It always has been. That's why they give you too many choices. That's why we have, you know, all we need is one good hamburger. We don't need a Jack in the Box and a McDonald's and a Burger King and a Wendy's and a White Castle. We don't need all that. We need one good hamburger. And so they give us choices. So you can never make up your mind. Because to manifest, you must focus on that one thing. The Bible tells the story this way. Jesus is walking on the water, and the disciples are in the boat, and they see him. And Peter says, you know, tell me to walk on the water. I want to do it too. So Jesus holds out his hands and tells them to come on. So Peter gets out and starts walking on the water. And then Peter looks back at the boat, and he starts to sink. He looked where he had been. And then he looks down at himself sinking, and he sinks further. He's looking at where he's at. But had he kept his eye on the prize, the master in front of him, he could have walked all the way. It's doubt and disbelief. We're in the age of I believe, right? You got to believe to make it work. When we move into Aquarius, we don't have that problem. We won't have to believe. We're going to know. You will know even as you are known. But in this age, the trick is you can't manifest shit because you can't make up your mind of what it is you want because you're given too many choices. The sky's the limit. Just anything you can think of here, you can manifest. And they've got us manifesting what they want us to have. We manifest poverty. We manifest pain and suffering. We manifest division. And it all comes from a place of ignorance, really, because we don't know any better. We've not been taught. We've been programmed. We've not been taught. We don't know how to think, and we don't know how to learn, and we don't know how to teach. So this whole age has been like a Mercury debilitated retrograde combust situation. That's just why it seems crazy and unfair. This is the age of grace. It has nothing to do with fair. Fair comes in Aquarius. That's when you reap what you sow. Nobody will get nothing they do not earn. There'll be no free rides in Aquarius. There'll be plenty of mercy, but there'll be no grace. Grace is unmerited favor, and this age has been blanketed with unmerited favor for the worst of the worst. It seems like the more evil you are, the more privileges you have. That will not be the case in the next stage. And we see that. We see a group of people now that are being born understanding that we should be in Aquarius. They've got us living in the past when we should be reaching for the future. If we'll keep our eye on the prize, if we'll stop looking at what the hell got us in this situation, the situation we're currently in, and focus on the goal in front of you, you can manifest it much easier. You'll stop sinking in this water of illusion of Pisces, and you'll start walking on the water. Then you're moving into that heaven, that air, right? You rise above the water, Aquarius. All right, that came out of nowhere, but that's how this kind of works for me. All right, go commit the random acts of kindness, and I'm going to request in 3 charts that I'll do. I'll add it to my workload. It'll be on the April list. I'm not overbooked for April. I'm on schedule for April. Everything else I'm still playing catch up, but April's will go off on schedule. And I'm going to add 3 to that so I can help Kim out. And if any of you feel generous or would just simply like to help, it would be appreciated. I love you all, and let's make the world a better place. One smile, one thank you, one kind deed at a time, expecting nothing in return but the happiness that you can help in another's life.